Alright guys, so welcome to my first match at IBJJF Worlds. This is my first major Nogi competition, and it's also my first time at Worlds. So my first opponent here, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's very tall, long, lanky, so I was expecting a heavy guard game. So I kind of went palm to palm and allowed him to pull guard because I feel really comfortable guard passing, so I'm okay with him being on his back. And that's his game, top is my game, so I'm okay with that. Right now, he's looking for these inversions and trying to go reverse De La Hiva or De La Hiva and playing this knee shield game. So I'm being very conscious to not let him get under my base and keep peeling the hand on that ankle. And right here, if you notice, not only did he establish the grip on my ankle, but now he elevated my foot off the floor, so my shin is resting on that thigh in De La Hiva. And this is why he was able to catch this far leg and keep me off balance, and he was nearly able to come up for the sweep, but I did a good job at blocking that left leg of his from coming back to the inside position and just keeping myself in sort of a headquarters. I dive in for the blast knee cut right there, but I wasn't able to quite get my chest low enough, and that's why he was able to re-enter the knee shield and push me away. The main thing that I try to focus on when playing top against these inversion guards is closing the space under my hips, and the way I like to do that is by simply sitting down towards my left hip, and now kind of being on this side position, I can easily fish in for this far underhook, and that's what I'm almost able to do. Now right here, we're really able to see the power of sitting down to the hip. As he goes in for the inversion, there's no space for him to duck his head under, and it also gives me a really strong grip on the top leg, allowing me to completely stuff his inversion while keeping myself safe. Well, safe to an extent, as he's able to lock me into close guard, and I immediately post both my hands into his armpits and get up to my feet. Right now I'm trying to pinch my knees in towards his butt to maintain my base and prevent the double ankle sweep, but I'm also being conscious that I'm okay if he's able to underhook one leg. I don't like the underhook on both legs, but I'm okay with doing one leg and trying to bait the K guard entry. That way I can stuff the legs down and begin my pass off of that. So right here, he starts going for that underhook, and I'm getting ready to posture up and try to break the K guard legs off of me. However, at this point, it's pretty clear he does not want to go K guard, and he greatly prefers double ankles. And right here, he strips the close guard, and he's going to look for X. My X guard defense focuses a lot on just being heavy and crowding his hooks. Eventually, I'm able to fall off the center line, and now I'm dealing with single leg X. For single leg X, I'm really focused on controlling his left leg here. And to set the scene, my left arm is preventing him from pushing me away, and my right arm is preventing the hook from pushing in general. So he has no ability to either elevate or create distance, and eventually he just has to let go, and I'm able to disengage. Now unfortunately, I wasn't able to completely get out of danger as he had that grip on my ankle and was able to drag me back in a close guard. From here, we're going for the same close guard escape, bringing the leg high and allowing him to underhook it. However, we run into the same problem where he underhooks both legs, and now it's a little more dangerous. But one thing I want to mention is notice how far I am over his head. If my posture's back and he has double underhooks, he can definitely dummy sweep me. But if my head is higher than his head, I should be able to keep my base a little more. So now he has the underhook on one of those legs, and I'm keeping my right leg really far back so he's not able to underhook that one. And he actually opens up the close guard and inserts his left leg into a butterfly hook. Now, as gay as this position looks, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of very niche but important details in this position right here. So currently, my left arm is occupying an underhook on the far side, while my right hip sprawls out, preventing him from being able to underhook it and elevate me into a X guard. What I'm also doing here is just completely crowding his inside space, forcing him to push me away instead of trying to pull me in and elevate me into a guard. And that's exactly what happens as he pushes me off, giving me a little more space, putting me into safer water, and I have a little more room to work with. Now I still have to be super conscious about that left arm underhooking my leg, so you see me fall to the hip a few times and try to offset my weight while also simultaneously waiting for that underhook to open up, as it does right here. And even though he has the underhook on my leg, the underhook on the far side of his body is a lot stronger, as I'm able to just kind of sit my hips down and wait for this grip to disappear so I can backstep. And then as he inserts his foot, because he has no block on this leg, if this grip were to disappear, I'd have an easy pass and an easy backstep. So he's forced to push me off and disengage again. But the overall theme of this entire sequence is notice how I was using that threat of the underhook and sitting to the hip, blocking his attack while also threatening my attack, and winning the mental battle of like, if I go X guard, he's just gonna underhook and sit here on me. So I don't want to go to fucking X guard. Let me push this guy off. And now that I'm pushed off, I'm back to headquarters, preferably where I like to be, and I can start attacking from here. So the unfortunate part is he still has a good hook on my ankle, preventing me from knee slicing, and as I'm trying to deal with that, he goes ahead and underhooks my leg again. Now, I drop my left hand down to his armpit, threatening that underhook, and I thought we were going to play the same game we've been doing all round. However, instead of conventionally trying to sweep me, he tries to wrestle up, but because I had that underhook, I was able to cancel it out, and he sits back down to guard. But this is where we get into the fun stuff. So I'm going to initiate the sequence by grabbing the head and far elbow and pulling him towards this side, keeping him upright. My opponent develops a grip around my shin, however this backfires on him as he opens up an underhook. And now with all the infinity stones at my disposal, I take the underhook, cup the elbow, and notice very important detail here, my head is going to drop ear to ear with him. Now the reason that's super important is because I'm basically stapling my entire body down onto this side of him, and he can't regain the underhook because there's literally no space for him to weave the arm back in. The important battles that I need to be winning here are far side underhook and near side hip space, and because I'm winning both of those positions, I'm able to easily slide my foot out and collect 3 points for a guard pass. Now unfortunately the job is still 1 minute away from being finished, and it's definitely not going to be an easy 60 seconds. I fuck up trying to go for the back, and I don't establish very strong grips or very strong position before throwing my hook in, and he's very easily able to escape. Now he once again starts playing the same guard, but as we've seen multiple times throughout the video, I've already answered this and I'm not super afraid until he switches his base and tries to come up for the wrestle up. With only 40 seconds being left in the round, I decide to pull guard and just try to hold him in half guard. Guys, I'm sorry, this is round 1. I'm not going for highlights here, but we will see it in round 2. But right now, just trying to wait out the time and move on to round 2. Now this motherfucker, he's a real G. Like he's not here to play around. And we're gonna see that soon in a few seconds. I go for my 2-on-1 wrist grip and elbow, and I'm literally just waiting out. Like there's no reason I need to be expending more energy when I need to be saving them for the later rounds, and I almost pay for that. He circles around, gets a hook in, and I have to hold this hook off for only 5 more seconds, but he's really going for it, and he nearly is able to get it in, but at the very last second, he'll slide off. He didn't have enough time to really get the hook in anyway and establish back, so even if he got the hook in at the last second, it wasn't going to be a win for him. But very close fucking match. That would have been 3-4 with 2 advantages, so there was really nothing I could do. And yeah, so that's round 1. Now I have a few more matches from Worlds, so if you guys are interested in more content like this, make sure to subscribe, and I'll be bringing that out later this week.